I've been running a software company over the past almost 3 years now, and I've been developing for 7 years. And a lot of people nowadays are like, oh, what do you think of the advancement of AI and how's it going to change software? And is it still worth, like you're going to be out of a job, your company's going to go under, whatever. And I think most people don't realize that just because something gets easier doesn't mean you're going to put people out of a job. It just means more stuff's going to get made. And if you're considering learning coding in 2024, if it's something that you are interested in and that you want to pursue, I think it's absolutely worth doing it, because for so many reasons. From just a learning and thinking perspective, I think it fundamentally is useful for you to learn a different way to think about problems and to think through logic and how to solve a particular problem on a scalable level. So that means like a solution that you can replicate consistently. That's the kind of magic of software. But beyond that, from a very practical work perspective, if we can work 80% faster, we will just produce 80% more. We're not going to just fire 80% and just produce at the same rate. The same way that, if you look at, if you think about software engineering a little bit like construction, it is construction, right? Effectively, it's construction, but in a digital medium. And so if you think about it, when we started having more construction machines, instead of building castles, we started building skyscrapers. That's the only difference. And so you still have a necessity to build, humans are very expansionist in that way. And so if we have the ability to build more, we will build more. We're not just going to stop building, because we can build, now we can build castles with a lot more ease than 500 years ago. And so instead of we didn't just keep building castles at the rate that we were before. We started building skyscrapers and buildings and huge metropolitan cities and infrastructure and all that. And so that's basically what's going to happen with, I think, the digital landscape as well. Fundamentally, it's just you are going to build faster and the demand will increase. It's going to be more scalable, but fundamentally, you're still going to have people that are going to want to create new software. And it's not going to be tomorrow that, suddenly a toddler can pick up ChatGPT and write an application, because an application, it's not just code. It is about user experience. It's about the scalability of the architecture, and you may have AI agents that can help you make decisions in those things, but you have to understand them to implement them, right? What are the services that you need, whatever. And so I'll be able to create software faster and in a more scalable way for my clients, basically. And so if anything, it presents an opportunity for my company to get ahead of others, because basically you have this new tool, and if I learn to adopt it faster and better than other companies, I will produce my software faster, better, and cheaper, and I become a much more competitive provider in the software services space than other providers. And so, if anything, it's a potential advantage. It is not a disadvantage. It's only a disadvantage if you let it be. So that's basically if you sit back and relax and keep doing things the old way. And I see, I see some companies do that, and I think they're destined to fail. They're just gonna slowly die out in a very slow and painful death. I think that's the worst kind of a death for a business, is to just die out slowly over several years where you're stagnant and you're not growing, and eventually you go under. And on that way down, nobody's happy. Nobody's getting raises. Everybody's kind of struggling, and people are slowly getting fired. I think that's horrendous. So I think it's definitely about learning to program with those AI tools. I think it's really important. And I think 100% people who want to pursue it still should. AI is not a threat. You absolutely should learn coding if that is something that you want to pursue work in. It's a skill just like any other. It's a profession. It's an option. And comment if there's other things or questions that you're curious about, because I do look at those for kind of video ideas. But I think it's not worth worrying whether this skill is still worth something. It is worth learning. It's going to take time, though. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't have, is patience.